Today on Growing the Home Garden, we are going to talk about dividing plants. I'm Dave with Growing the Home Garden. For years, one thing that has really always kind of amused me a little bit is we call it dividing plants when really it's multiplying plants. Now I get it, we're actually taking a clump of something and then we're pulling it apart, so we're dividing it. But in the act of dividing it, we are actually multiplying it. We're making more plants for our garden to give away to friends, to do all kinds of great things with. So today that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you a few easy tricks to use when you're dividing plants, some things that will help you. We'll talk about the timing, when it's best to plant or when it's best to divide your plants. There are some plants that you probably want to divide in the fall, other plants that you're going to want to divide right now in the spring. So let's go ahead and take a look at it, and let's take a look at dividing some plants. So as far as timing goes, spring to me is probably the primary time to be dividing your plants. There's a lot of plants that do best when you propagate them in spring by dividing. One such thing is the Hostas. I've done a video on that before. But right here, I've got a clump of Rudbeckia, or black-eyed Susans. And you can see here, it's a pretty good-sized clump. What happens over time is they will continue to spread outward, and then they'll end up leaving a little bit of a hole in the middle. That happens with a lot of different clumping type of plants. So in this case, I want to go ahead and divide this a little bit. I'm going to take some pieces off the exterior parts of this plant, and the way we do that is very easy. We just simply use a large shovel to kind of cut into these clumps, and I'll show you that here in just a moment. Before you do that, the best time of day to do this is probably early in the morning when it's still a little bit on the cool side. And as far as timing goes, if you can do it right after a rain, that is perfect because the ground is loose. The plant itself has stored up all the water that it could through that rain. But if you don't have a rain, you can substitute just using a watering can, giving it a little bit of a drink ahead of time before you actually start that. And that will help lessen any kind of a shock issue that you might have through the act of division. So in dividing a large clump like this, a lot of times I look for the natural divisions in the plant. So I'll kind of get in here and I'll separate and I'll look for where the leaves are all kind of emanating out of to their central points. And if you want to make small divisions, a little spade like this is just fine. It will do a good job. You just want to make sure that you get it beside a clump, kind of stick it in there. A hori-hori knife or a garden knife kind of thing will work very good for this as well. So I'm just going to be a little bit aggressive here, which is just fine for a plant like this. And I'm just going to kind of dig all the way around it. So smaller divisions work really well just doing it this way. And I know it looks a little bit brutal, but this plant is hardy enough that it will easily take a little bit of punishment from dividing it up. Just want to make sure you get all the way around it. I'm actually pulling a larger clump up than I intended. The ground is pretty dry even after watering it. Alright, so once I've got enough of it out, get my hands in there and I'll just pull out the clump. And here's what we end up with. I'll kind of clean off a little bit of the roots. And if you can see here, I can probably even divide that a couple more times. So, and that's great if you're wanting to put this around in various different places. Because it's wet, I can just gently pry it apart, and I get a nice little clump there. And then this one, I'll see if I can do the same with it. Just pull it apart. There we go. And there's another one, those are good. Now I may be able to get this one a little bit more. There's a little piece that came off, just like this. That would probably be a good one to put into like a little 4-inch pot of some kind and let it grow a little bigger before planting out. This size right here, we can go ahead and put into another location in the garden. There's plenty of roots there for it to do well. We'll just get it in the ground and give it a really good watering so it will go ahead and grow in its new spot. Now if it's a tougher clump, something like a shovel will work fine too. And again, we're going to kind of look and feel for a natural sort of division spot. And then we'll just go ahead and cut. We'll go around to the outside too. And we can just easily pull this clump straight out of the garden. Now I'm going to put back some of the soil because I really don't want to remove a whole bunch of soil from the original plant. And this original plant will gradually fill in, and in a couple weeks you probably won't even notice that it was worked on at all. So this clump here, all right, there's a little tiny offshoot, and it's got just a little bit of roots on it. But we've got some divisions we can make off of this. And I'll just get in there and I'll kind of break it up a little bit with the spade. Until we can loosen things up well. Do the other side. That's a better division point right here anyway. I see a spot. All right, a lot of times once you get one piece out, the others come off easier. So we've got two good clumps right here. And then let me get at least one more out of this. There we go. Those are some good sized clumps right there. So it's very easy to divide something like a Rudbeckia. Let's take a look at something else. Now this plant is one of my favorites. It's a Walker's Low Catmint. And a lot of times what it does is it'll send off these short little runners to the side. It's not like other mints, it doesn't spread around a huge amount. But if you look for the offshoots from it and come around the base right here, you'll be able to find some pretty good spots for division. Because what happens is these come down and then they touch the ground, they start creating roots, which then allows you to pull up a division. So I think I've got one right around here. Yep, there's a small one in that spot. So I'm going to cut in right here with the shovel. Loosen that soil up just a hair. And let's see what we can pull out. All right, whoop, there it went. So there's one good clump on it, and looks like we got a little bit of something else going on there. So we got a pretty good clump there. We got several different little sprigs that are growing and a pretty good set of roots on it. I'll just set it over here and let the cat hold it for a minute. All right, and also off of that division came this piece here. You can see a little bit more of how that happened, where the stem laid down, and effectively this is layering. You could do a layering technique on this too. But right here you've got where it started to come down, and at the nodes it began creating new shoots off of this, and so we've got extra roots right there. So it's very easy to divide. I've got one more piece here that I partially pulled up, and it's got a pretty good sized root on this one. You can see how that happened. So pretty good chunky root that's been there for a little while. You can see it's got a lot of shoots off of it, and I've got a second piece right here off of an older piece of root. So right there, with just a very small amount of, oh, one more right here, we end up with 5 extra catmints for a total of 6 catmints from what we had before. So you can see dividing is multiplying, just like I said. And this plant here is one of my favorite salvias. This is Caradonna, and I'll do a little weeding while we're at it, get rid of that onion. But right over here, I usually don't ever divide these unless I want to make more plants. But usually I'm making them from stem cuttings because they do really well from cuttings. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to come to the outside just kind of to show you that it's the same thing, and I'm just going to trim a small segment off of this so it doesn't actually impact the main plant. That way we can get an extra from this salvia. All right, it took a second to do that, but I actually got 2 little divisions, and I can probably separate this division out to another one right here. As long as they've got a bit of roots on them, they should be okay. These are a pretty tough type of salvia. So you can see here we've got roots on those 3 pieces right there, and I virtually left this untouched. There's very little here that looks much different from before, and I'll just tuck in a little bit of soil where I remove these little divisions from. But I could dig this whole thing up and separate them out into a lot of different areas, but you don't necessarily need to do that. Sometimes you can just use a shovel or a spade to cut things apart that way. If you have one of those hoary knives, those are very useful for doing this. So this is a garden bed just outside my vegetable garden, and I'm going to start putting some of these divisions in here. The Caradonna makes a pretty good front specimen. It's got some tall flower stalks that will grow, and they look really nice. They're also very pest resistant. The deer don't tend to bother these at all, and they do attract pollinators, so they're really a nice plant to have around. So we'll just put them here, and I'll keep them a little bit close. I'm going to plant them in a bit of a triangle situation because that looks really good. And here we go, there's two. And they are repeat bloomers, so after they have gotten done blooming, you can just trim off the buds, the flower, the remaining flower parts, and then you can just expect another set of blooms to happen a few weeks later. So one thing I will do, because I've transplanted them, is I'm going to pinch these buds off today, because they are going to sap energy that now I want that energy to go into the root system here instead of flower production. Roots are more important than flowers after transplanting. So I'm also going to put a couple of the Rudbeckia clumps in this same garden bed. I've got a lot of purple in this bed already. I've got some Russian sage in it, and we're going to add some catmint too to this spot, but it would be nice to have some contrasting colors there. And you know, purple and yellow look really good together. So here we go. Just put a couple of them in here. Just like this. We also had, this is a spent branch off of a milkweed. So we've got some milkweed that should be coming back in this bed too. All right, we're going to add in some of this catmint here, and we'll do it kind of between the salvia and the Rudbeckia that we just put in. And I kind of like it to be close to the borders of beds, just because it's one of those plants that really smells good. So if you brush up against it, or if you want to pinch a little piece off of it, it's just really nice. Forgot I've got something coming up right here. What did I have there before? That was a salvia. So we will leave that salvia alone, and I will move over here on the other side of the Rudbeckia and stick in this catmint. Now it's okay with catmint if you bury it a little deep, because it will just create more roots along the stem. You don't have to really worry too much about it. Now this garden bed right here is a holding bed. This is pretty much daffodils right here, then I've got irises, daylilies, and then some more irises, because I didn't know exactly which one was which when we moved, so I wanted to give them time to grow so I could see what they were. But right here I'm going to plant in some of those Rudbeckias and just use this area as a bit of a propagation bed for them, so I can spread them around to other areas on the property when we need to. So we'll just go ahead and stick them in here. We've got some good soil in this bed now, and we'll just tuck them in. Division is just so easy to do. It's a lot of fun making new plants too, just having them come along and come alive, and you get to see the result of your work fairly quickly. That's one of the pluses about it over cuttings. A lot of times cuttings can take a long time to actually turn into a good sizable plant, but when you have divisions, they've already got quite a bit of roots going. So you just go ahead and plant them in, and they will adapt really well. We have a lot of issues with deer, rabbits, and stuff. Generally, these three plants that I'm doing right today don't really have that big of an issue with those animals. And I'm going to do the same here with the catmint. I find that catmint also is a good repellent to protect other plants. It's not perfect. I don't think there is anything that is absolutely perfect, but it does a fairly good job at creating a little bit of a buffer around your critters that you don't want to eat your stuff. There we go. So now we'll come back over here with the hose and give everything a good watering. Well, I missed one. Let's do one more. and then we'll do a good watering. Now this particular one, it's got a pretty good sized root. I'm going to try to leave that intact. And actually I've got a milkweed popping up here, so I'm going to move. Didn't see it. We'll come over here. That's not milkweed, that's a Vernonia, ironweed. So we'll go ahead and slide this in here. And tuck in all of that root so it can grow. Keep in mind this is catmint, not catnip. Catnip really attracts the cats. Catmint doesn't do a whole lot. So there's a difference there. Daylilies are another easy plant to divide. It's very simple. I'll probably do a separate video for that later in the year. The best time to do it is probably after they have bloomed for the season, so I'm going to let them be for right now. But as you can see here, there's several different divisions off of this one. They call them fans that could easily be divided off of this one particular daylily. I believe this one is called Primal Scream. Heuchera or coral bells are another easy one that you can divide the same way. In fact, they get really bad if you let them go too long, and then they start spreading out, and then the center then becomes a big dead spot. So these are not quite big enough for me to really do a whole lot with. They haven't really spread. I planted most of them last year. So probably about 3 to 4 years into it, look at your heucheras and go ahead and evaluate them just to see if you need to transplant them or make some divisions. So right here I have a clump of a hosta, okay, and you can see it's got a little bit of a wild pansy or wild violet kind of in among it, but right here you see the spears that are coming up. Those spears mean that this is the best time of year to transplant and divide a hosta. You risk minimal damage to the leaves when they are tightly furled in those spears. So what you do is you can either dig them out or you could separate them out with a shovel. I did a video on that a while back. I'll post it in the description here to this video. But hostas are very easy to divide and transplant. I prefer to do it when they are in the growing season. That way they can recover and get more energy from the sunlight and still have some time to grow. So pretty much spring through summer would be best. You could do it a little bit in the fall if you want to. Just make sure you've got the right site to transplant them to. So when you're going out to divide your plants, don't be afraid to break into them, to cut through them, to use a shovel to cut the clump up in some way. They are usually very hardy plants and can withstand a little bit of that torture, if you will, to actually create better plants. And in fact, in a lot of cases, they really need the division to kind of keep their growing patterns healthy. You get too big of a clump in there and it starts getting those dead patches. They don't look good and they don't do really well. So it's definitely a maintenance kind of thing, but what's really wonderful about it is the fact that you can get so many extra plants through dividing them. So I'm Dave with Growing the Home Garden. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time here on Growing the Home Garden. Thanks again for watching.